here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about some common misconceptions about homeschooling and or homeschool families, homeschool students, whatever you want to call it. So I was homeschooled personally, and I think a lot of people make a lot of assumptions and or judgments about homeschoolers, and I just want to kind of set the record straight on what being a homeschooler is like and how some of these things are not true, and or to give you a different perspective on it. So some of the common misconceptions about homeschooling are that they are super brainy, that only people who are super smart can be homeschooled because they have to be super self-motivated and or they're super dorky, like we're talking Big Bang Theory characters. That is so not true. I mean, I was homeschooled. I'm not that way at all. My sisters and I all scored really well on all of our standardized tests. We did great on PSATs, SATs, all that kind of thing. But we were not the, you know, the crazy, intelligent, we're going to get into science, that kind of thing. That's just not who we are. Really, the number one biggest misconception about homeschoolers is that we are anti-social and or socially awkward. I think this is kind of hilarious because I am such a social person. It doesn't have anything to do with the way you're schooled. It has to do with your personality, your experiences. I think that your parents and what situations they put you in, especially when you're young, that makes a huge difference on how social someone is, and or the things that they choose to expose themselves to when they get a little bit older. And I don't know why people assume that just because you do your school at home instead of out in the school system means that you're going to be that socially awkward person. Please don't judge all homeschoolers based on a sampling of 1 or 2 people, because we are not all like that. I think there's also an assumption that homeschoolers are all religious. That is really very much not true. You will find a lot of religious people who are homeschooling, but that doesn't mean that they're homeschooling because they're religious necessarily. And I know a lot of people that have chosen to homeschool just because it worked well for their family, and or it allowed them to travel, and or it worked well with the way their job was, so the kids didn't have to go from school to school to school because of the parents' jobs. And so I think that assuming that just because someone's homeschooled that they are religious is a little bit unfair. They can't do college, or that they will rebel once they get into the, quote, real world. I can't tell you how many people told my sisters and I, especially when they were in high school, because they're both older than I am, that we were going to fall apart when we finally saw the real world. But I'm now 25 and I've experienced a lot of things. I've been to several different countries because I love traveling. I've worked several different jobs because I like working. Like at the moment I'm working 3 jobs. And I don't feel like I've fallen apart. I've been through some pretty tough experiences, some emotionally, really emotional, triggering experiences with different people. I have not fallen apart by seeing the real world, and I think that's because my education and my parents and my life experiences really prepared me for my adult life really well. Not saying it's perfect, it's not perfect, but no one's is, and I don't care what kind of schooling you went through. No one's life is perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You just have to make the best of your circumstances around you. I think that covers about everything. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you have any questions or any thoughts, feel free to share in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and or subscribe to my channel. Bye guys! My point in doing this is I think that homeschooling should not be a way to view people or something that just gets ignored or put aside or has assumptions on, but I want people to just realize that it's a choice that people can make. They can make that choice for many different reasons. It's a choice that we should have the freedom to make in every single state of our country. That freedom is something that America was built on, and I would love it if everyone felt like they had the option of homeschooling, whether they choose to partake of it or not. Just like they have the option to choose public school, they have the option to choose private school. Homeschooling is just another option that we should all have the freedom to use, whether we want to partake of that freedom or not. So anyway, I hope that that clears up some assumptions that you may have about homeschooling or homeschoolers, and let me know what you think.